So it was a Friday night in November. I was in my apartment in Evanston with my roommates Jason and Spencer and my girlfriend Anna. We just finished watching American Beauty on HBO, and it was the last day of our junior year of our fall quarter of junior year in college. So we're trying to figure out what to do on the Friday night. So I went from the living room down to the kitchen. And I called my other friend Chu to see what he was up to. And midway through the call, with my right arm suddenly was disassociated from my body, and then by itself, very slowly, very calmly, fell to my side and was totally dead and unresponsive. So I walked across the room, sat down. My roommates came over, asked me what's wrong, but I couldn't answer them because I couldn't speak. Not speaking wasn't like being drunk or hoarse or like out of breath. It was like someone had built a wall between my brain and my mouth, and no volume of pushing or cajoling or anything was going to get words through my mouth. No grunting, no half syllables, silence. My roommates are freaking out a little bit. My roommate Jason goes and opens every window in the house as if cold air is going to cure my inability to speak. My girlfriend Anna starts Googling. Spencer gets me this big tall glass of water. And then eventually my right arm comes back pretty fast. And someone gives me some European history study notes to write on the back of. My handwriting is much worse than usual. Spelling is really hard. I can't quite get the words right. One of the first things I write is, if I were old, this would be a stroke. And so then Jason comes out of the bathroom. His face is bright red, dripping wet. He's been splashing water on his face to get rid of the 2 beers he drank so he can drive us to the hospital. We decide to get our friend Emily to drive instead. She's definitely sober. We drive the 6 blocks to the hospital. And then in the ER room, there's this big argument between this Asian doctor in some cowboy boots and this female doctor in this big sweater. And the argument is about whether I've had a stroke or not. I can't use my arm, I can't speak, and the right half of my face has melted, which are all really obvious, clear signs of a stroke. But I'm 20, and I'm healthy, and I had no previous reasons to have this, and there's nothing to indicate it. So even with these really clear evidence, these great ER doctors are arguing pretty intensely about whether this rule can be accepted and he can actually have a stroke. They decide, yes, you've had a stroke. They're doctors. They got to figure out why. So the head of the cardiology comes down, this old man with a little leather bag and the whole bit, and he takes 2 syringes and he fills them with water, and he shakes them up, and he puts them in my IV. Now, one of the things you learn from television is that bubbles in your blood is like bad news. It's not really clear why, but they're always in ER. They're like flicking the syringe and like shooting the little water out, you know? And even like heroin addicts on TV are always doing that. So like, it's got to be worse than heroin to have bubbles in your blood. So then this guy, head of cardiology, just slams them both and shoots like hundreds of bubbles into my blood. And this whole room of like medical professionals, totally unfazed. I'm silent because I can't speak, but everyone else, no problem. So everyone turns and they look at this like 2D, like live picture of my heart in black and white going next to me. And one side of it fills with all these little white circles, and they tell you to flex, and I flex. And they all shoot to the other side of my heart, which is not supposed to happen. They're supposed to go to my lungs like normal blood. Turns out I have a hole in the center of my heart called a PFO, which all of you had in the womb, but it closes the first time you cry, or at least it's supposed to. But for 20% of people, it doesn't close. And those people are fine. They have no symptoms, there's no reason to detect it, there's no reason to find it. But a very small percentage of those people sometimes have strokes when they're 20 and healthy, and it's Friday night. So I'm sent up to the stroke ward, where I'm immediately the coolest kid in town because I'm 20 and not 80. And I can go to the bathroom by myself, I can feed myself, my talking coming back a little bit, I have much cooler neighbors coming to visit me and friends. And then one of the first things they do is a swallow test. Because one of the problems with a stroke is that half of your throat muscles can stroke out. And if you, for instance, drink a large glass of water given to your roommate named Spencer, you can drown in your own lungs because it just goes into your lungs and you die. So this woman puts on the blue latex gloves, fills my throat, gives me like ice chips and then applesauce and crackers, pass the test, flying colors. So they take away the standard stroke ward menu, which is a pureed-only menu. Salmon and rice pureed, or like meatloaf potatoes pureed. And they gave me the full menu. And so I asked pretty clearly to the doctors, like, I can order whatever I want, right? There's no restrictions. So they're like, no, it's not your health, it's not your diet. You just had a stroke, you have this weird thing with your heart, go for it. So I call up, I like lunch, bacon cheeseburger, side of bacon, Coke, and a strawberry shortcake. My girlfriend's like, Andre, my mom is very angry. You're not supposed to order bacon after having a stroke. Apparently that's frowned upon. But the reason I ordered the bacon is because I didn't want this stroke to be the thing that like defines all my decisions. Now, like, be with me every day and make me like not have to be able to have bacon and the things I love. And it wasn't about my health or my diet. It's just this weird thing that happens to me in my heart. So now, every year on the anniversary, November 30th, I celebrate Stroke Day, where I do all the things. I do all the things that I would be sad to miss if I had like a serious, debilitating stroke or something else. So the first year, it was just a Costco volume of bacon and my college friends. And last year was a big party, staying late into the night, laughing, drinking good beer, eating fried chicken skins this time. And this kind of idea of doing the things you want to do before you have something terrible for you or because you may in the future has been great for me. It took me to South Korea for a year, and it made me eat fertilized duck eggs in the Philippines, and it made me sign up to tell a story in front of strangers on a stage. So, thank you.